Hello, friends. It's Chapo. Enjoying sports and fucking food. What the fuck does nutrition and fitness mean? Like that should have.
If there's a villain, then you have an excuse, basically. So you have to tell people, I'm sorry, there are malefactors of great wealth responsible for all of this, and you can make sense of it. But in your life, you actually do have to do things that help you, and that isn't wage this grievance war against the phantom enemy.
Yeah,
it's talk to people because you can help each other.
Yes, don't be a digital soldier. Don't be in an invisible war.
The most horrifying thing is talking to people, but also one of the only ways to live a meaningful life. I will say that nutrition and fitness have always been coupled. There have been conflicting ideas about it over time, but they've never... I mean, putting them together isn't exactly a new idea. I would say that hyperfixation on some things and like entire categories of food, whether they're like vegetables or whatever like goofy shit people are talking about, is newer and more internet-y. But it's not necessarily bad to pay attention to what you eat either.
You should.
No, I mean, I think what's heartbreaking about so many of these influencers that we look at is that what they're telling you to do is, on the face of it, really good advice. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, I watched one guy who, starts off like an hour-long video, and the first thing he does is like, okay, just like pause this video and go and make your bed. And then like go and do something hard, and then like do this. And you're just kind of giving all of these little tasks for like, I guess, a depressed young person. But they're all exactly like what a therapist would also like say to somebody in that position. It's about like kind of taking action and doing stuff. And you can see the comments on like lots of these videos that like, I don't know, you'll see lots and lots of comments on even the most kind of extreme wacky guys, or people would be like, this guy saved my life, do you know? And I have no reason to disbelieve them. Even like a lot of the dating stuff, even if it gets a bit kind of weird and sexual assaulty down the end, often starts out with basically what we've been saying here, which is like go out and talk to people, talk to as many people as possible. It's all
and
good
also
advice.
don't fear rejection or like rejection is not the end of your life. It's just like a stepping stone that if you get used to it, like it's not like the be all end all of your value as a human being.
Yeah, exactly. But it's I guess it's the fact that it's tied in with this incredibly poisonous kind of view of the world, which just leads to further resentment and fear and kind of like slow mistrust of almost everybody around you, apart from the few other people that you know who kind of subscribe to this ideology wholly. I guess it's about uncoupling that. It's about uncoupling essentially this generally quite good, innocuous like lifestyle advice for people who, as we know, kind of like are facing an epidemic of kind of loneliness and alienation from, I guess, this kind of status anxiety that it seems to be so malignantly tied up with in manosphere politics.
Not everything is like tuning to become your best self. Like there's actually life. And what I meant by addressing fitness and nutrition, it's like get into things where nutrition and fitness are a part of the process. They're not sort of like end in and of themselves. Yeah. Like I think that this is also a very like, kind of Western or like US centric way of thinking of self-development and becoming the cool, the best and perfect individual or whatever.
Yeah,
get out of like,
get
out of that sphere of things of like life is a tuning process to your perfect self, because it denies essentially death, decay, and the reality of that side of things.
Well, I don't know. I this may seem counterintuitive or contradictory to everything we said about getting out and talking to people, but I do sincerely think there's a value, especially for young people who have very few memories before this gamified human interaction and communication. Try to spend some time not escaping from your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Even when you think that you are totally alone, you are still inundated with this slot machine of human communication, or like a game or something you're just watching in the background just so you can hear the audio of people talking, so you don't have to think about where you are in that moment in your life or anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you just, work out and then you have your designated talking to people time and then sit alone in a room. You're not a prisoner. You shouldn't live like that. But there is some value to not just mortgaging away every moment that you have with yourself and not managing and delaying every silent moment with yourself. I think people now are so alienated from their own thoughts and
they
their
don't even know what they
unadulterated
want.
selves that it's torture to them, to a lot of us, when they're first put outside of it.
Yeah, I hate the Shavasana part in yoga.
Along the lines of Julian and Felix, your thoughts here. I mean, like, as best I can, like, offer any kind of practical advice or like just a way to think about these things. I mean, I think back to my, early 20s, in which I was probably at my most angry and depressed, lonely young man. And I remember thinking when I graduated college, like, if I don't have like a job, a place of my own, and like a relationship, or just the comfort of fun, meaningless sex. If I don't have at least two of those three things, I'm gonna kill myself. And for a long time, I didn't have any of those fucking things, and it was fucking miserable. But I think, like, looking back on it now, the way out of it was like each one of those things of like self-improvement makes the other thing more likely, and you can't just you will achieve the one that you really want by focusing on the other. Like, it's a reinforcing thing that you're never going to get at directly, but crucially in all areas you have to be actively engaged in your life. And like, it's something that you've said, and I'll repeat again, it's like this feeling of passivity that's so easy to encourage in yourself and to fall into. And the way out of it is by actively engaging with your own life, and you will achieve like a career, real responsibilities, friendships, and have like more opportunity to meet the person who you could end up being in a relationship with or even having sex with if you pursue the other areas of your life that just one thing leads to another, and each successive step will make the next one easier. But the more you withdraw inward, the more you end up, with an anger towards the rest of the world, a hatred of women, and which is really just a hatred of yourself and your own passivity.
Yeah, and if you go through life max minning, like, you're not going to enjoy any of the processes, right? Because a lot of the good parts of life that are kind of open-ended, ambiguous, like they involve interactions and being out there in the world or whatever, they're not necessarily going to get your stats up or whatever, right? I mean, it's not a fucking RPG. Like, go and actually enjoy the weird ambiguities of life, of relationships, of going out to do an activity and maybe meeting people in the process of that. And maybe the activity isn't an activity that's named after like a fucking stat that you're going to bring back home, having gotten more XP for. Like, I do think that people tend to always bring it back to the self and like, what can I get from it? And it's like, no, like, life is something larger. I think it's not about like your life, really. It's about, are you out there actually experiencing these moments instead of running away from them? Sounds new agey or whatever, but basically, don't take advice online. If you're gonna meditate, you can just meditate. You can find some guy who like made a guided meditation years ago who doesn't have an MLM to sell you. If you want to work out, you can work out at your like local gym. You can meet somebody who's into it and fucking get inspired by that person or whatever. There are ways to like replicate all of this stuff that is being essentially like cataloged and commercialized online for self-improvement in reality. And it's not going to be perfect. It won't be the best advice that you'll get from like that random guy you met, but it'll be real advice from a human being, not like someone who's being designed by a social media company.
Julian, that's a great place to leave it, and also a great place to remind our listeners that I will be selling my Alpha Brainwave semen. Yes. I'll be sending Menneker loads. Check the website. We'll be selling those. I'll be selling loads and urine to maximize your brainwave potential.
I've been a subscriber, and like the Menneker boxes, they seem to like, I don't know, like the cum is thinner than it used to be or something. Have you guys been doing cost saving on that, or because like the vials are not as full?
Are you diluting the cum? Well, we can't have your product going out under the Chapo brand. This is only the highest quality semen, we promise.
Do not get stepped on piss. Do not get stepped on cum.
Look, by the 10th load of the day, it's pretty difficult to be roping out high quality product. But look, listeners, I will do better. All right, Julian and Annie, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. If people would like to listen to the QAnon Anonymous Man Clan series and delve even further into the world of the manosphere and its many exciting and hilarious personalities, where can they go?
They can go to patreon.com/QAnon Anonymous, or just look for QAnon Anonymous on any kind of podcast distributor platform. And on Twitter, we're QAnon Anonymous. So come and hang out. come and get content. $5 a month and everything's included, you know? I mean, we basically copied the Chapo model. And there's even a really cool conspiracy theory by this like Radlib guy out there that I want to mention that says that you guys made us so that we could forgive Russian crimes in the sphere of disinformation. So
Facts.
thanks for that.
Facts. We'll be
Yeah,
taking our
appreciate
cut.
it.
We'll be taking our cut of the Man Clan. We'll work that out later.
Yeah, I'll send you some loads.
Julian, Annie, QAnon Anonymous, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.